Again, we have a unique moment in time to deliberate, to talk, to chat, using social media and the radio to connect. And that's the beautiful thing about technology. We are able to connect even if I am not in your house or on your doorstep or in some meeting in the community. I am still in the United States of America. I am still in Brooklyn. Well, I'm back in Brooklyn, New York, and we can still have a conversation. We can still dialogue. So technology is affording us that access, that opportunity. So at this point, I will go ahead and share the live. So you might see a little black, I don't want to call it blackout, but your video for Facebook and YouTube would go kind of dark for 30 seconds, and then I will return by you seeing me. So let me go ahead and share the live so as many people as possible can get that chance to view, all right, to view the program. So let me go ahead and share the live, all right, so because it's important. So let me go ahead and share the live at this point. All right, I think I shared it. Right, so I think I shared the live. So I want to encourage you to share the live. Once you come under the live, take some time and share it so as many people as possible as part of your uh, contacts or friend list can get to view or follow the program. All right. I want to start off in a substantive way by saying Grenada continues to enjoy record growth in the economy. In fact, the economy grew by 4.2%. And you have to factor in all that's happening regionally and internationally or globally. So the mere fact that we have been able as a country to record 4.2% growth says a lot about the management of the economy. The economy is properly managed, and we have to be grateful for that, thankful to the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team for holding us steady and making sure that growth is realized. You need to have someone who can hold the ship and make sure that it is going in the right direction. Someone who can hold that bow and guide that ship. Someone who can captain that ship and make sure that we are heading where we must to develop the country, to transform the country. So record growth, 4.2%. The unemployment rate continues to fall. We are now at 9.8%. So the government is doing all in their power to create jobs, to create opportunities, to make sure that the private sector has an environment that is conducive for growth, expansion, development, thereby hiring more people. So jobs are being created. The unemployment rate fell to 9.8%. The government will be focusing heavily in the next 24 months, well, let's say 12 to 24 months on healthcare, improving that, enhancing that, agriculture, education, the digital economy, social protection for people, human resource development, youth development. So the government is focused, and we are happy about that. And we must support in every way that we can our government so that they can be successful. Because once they are successful, then we will be successful. Our communities will be successful. And that's the message. We have to support our government, and ultimately, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique will be prosperous, will be transformed in a way that would benefit all of us, and not just this generation, but the next generation and the next generation. You see, we have an opportunity at this moment to grab, to embrace this young team of men and women who are focus driven, who are results based oriented, who have a vision for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. And they're working on that diligently. So we have that moment in time to embrace. We're not going back, we're moving forward. Grenada is on a path to prosperity for all. And we have to be thankful and grateful for that. I want to say further, I saw an elderly person in the news being thankful, being grateful to the government of Grenada for finally handing her deed, her title deed to her property. Yes, it was Crown land. She paid for it, but under the NNP administration, they never embarked upon a solid program to provide people who are living on Crown lands their deed and plan, the title to the land. Many people paid on a monthly basis the amount required so they can own the land. When they complete that process and they seek to get their plan and their deed, they were not going anywhere. They were not getting that. So the government started the land tenure regularization program, where so many of our Grenadian brothers and sisters are getting their deed, their title deed to their property. And the government intends to go the next step, because I think that's the second cohort of recipients, right? So I think they group them. So they're going the next step with the third cohort and focus on them making sure that they get that title. So they give them time to pay. They know the amount that they have to pay. When they complete paying, then they would get their title, their plan, their deed, and that kind of thing. Then they can pass that on to the children. Because there are a lot of people who have a concrete house, but they do not own the land. The land is Crown land. You may have, maybe you grew up in that particular home, or maybe it was wood, and then your grandmother or your mother decided to turn it into concrete, and it might be upstairs and downstairs, it might be nicely constructed, but the land does not belong to your grandmother or grandfather or mother or father. So the government is trying to make sure that you get that piece of paper, a document in your hand, which says that the land belongs to you. You can pass it on to whoever you want to. And that's generational wealth being created thanks to the NDC administration. I think they are focused. There are a number of programs that are impacting people positively. You see This one, the land tenure regularization program, where hundreds and hundreds of people will benefit by getting title to their property. And of course, you have to pay. Government lands are quite reasonable. They're quite reasonable. In situations where a private person would sell their land for 10 US a square foot or 8 US a square foot, then the government would sell that land to you for $1 or $2, right? And you don't have a lot of government lands available in Grenada anymore. Crown lands, you don't have a lot. So the people who are on them, they're getting the opportunity to make right with government, to get the title to the land, to pay for it, and be able to go to the bank and, to have some level of security. So I want to commend the government on that, because there are a lot of people who would tell you they finished paying for their land, but under the NNP, they just couldn't get a title. This government is serious about that. The news that the Baltazar Bridge will soon be constructed. They will soon start construction on the Baltazar Bridge. This is a good news, because when rain falls heavily, you know what happens. The buses, they have to go, I think, all through Maribor and Highlands and, all the way up to get back to Birch Grove. So this is a good move, and the government must be commended on that. They've done extensive work on Grandetang Road. Not Grandetang Road going to the hospital, but Grandetang Road over the hills. So again, they're serious about bringing development to the rural parts of Grenada. They have to be commended where that is concerned. I think they will be doing some work also in Soubise and the Maquis, right? Coastal works, they'll be doing that to protect that community or those two communities. I want to say to political nervous or people who just taking in the politics of Grenada, and many of them believe that they have a monopoly. Please do not call me at this point in time. Let me just put do not disturb. Don't call me. There's somebody who is calling me from New York, right? So maybe they heard that I'm in New York. So don't call me at this point. Well, in fact, you can't, because I just put do not disturb. So you will not be able to call me, not be able to reach me after I can communicate with you, all right? Also, to folks who intend or who believe they can give me stuff to bring them to Grenada because I'm up here, change your mind, all right? If you have intentions, if you call me or you want to call for me to bring them stuff, change your mind about that. I'm not bringing them any stuff for anybody, all right? Change your mind about that. Good? I want to make that abundantly clear. There are some people who believe you're up here and you're going down to Grenada, they can give you all kind of stuff to bring down. No, change your mind about that forthwith, immediately. I'm not bringing any stuff to Grenada for anybody, all right? So let's just make that very clear. Nobody gonna set me up. All right, so I want to say to those who just enter in the world of politics and following Grenada's politics, you need to be a student of history. I want to tell you up front, do not believe NNP doesn't have support in Grenada. So take that out of your mind. NNP has supporters in Grenada. In fact, the last general election saw NNP receiving 28,959 votes. So we can round it off to 29,000 votes. So 29,000 people in Grenada voted for NNP in the last general election. So you have to understand that. Also, don't believe the NDC doesn't have a lot of support. 31,430 people voted for the NDC. But you have to still understand you have 80-something thousand people who are registered to vote. And now we are about 92,000 people who are registered to vote, who could vote. So put it in your mind that both political parties have support in Grenada and outside of Grenada. What you must know also is that NDC has had some quiet support over the many years, but many of them were not going to the polls because they were not attracted to the candidates, the people who the NDC was putting up. The people were looking for newness. They were looking for freshness. They were looking for somebody who can come and bring something new to the table and turn the thing around. And we found that in the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team of men and women. So that reactivated, the passion, the energy, the vibes, the support, the everything for the NDC, right? And with a lot of hard work. So you're able to get our people to understand how important it is to register and to vote and to participate. And we have to continue doing that because there is a huge block of people who are in the middle. They are not NNP, they are not NDC, but they love the direction that the country is going. So as a result, they are willing to vote. They are willing to support this government. And that is why when the NNP organize meetings and so on, they have not been very successful to date. When they organize even social events, they have not been successful. The NNP, they have been an epic failure in the last 3 years since losing power in Grenada. Because there is nothing new that the NNP is offering. Nothing that wows people or excites people. Nothing. And then you have the same old players within NNP, right? And Grenadians have turned the page on that type of politics. The divisive, gutter, sniper type of politics, right? Of anger, of bitterness, and, people are fed up with that. They've turned the page. They want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And they're seeing that. See, we have a prime minister who is not, into this bacchanal confusion, TB type of politics. He's focused on developing Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And that is what you want. That is what you want. So the NNP is not getting that kind of traction. But I want you to know that both political parties, they have supporters in Grenada. Both of them. What I can tell you, the real players, the people who will determine victory in the next general election would be the diaspora and the people in the middle. Because NNP supporters, they will vote for NNP. Right? The NDC supporters, they will vote for NDC. The people in the middle and the people in the diaspora who will participate. I went to another state. That state I will not call the name, but I went to that state and I engaged 87 Grenadians. 87 Grenadians want to return home just a little before the general election. Many of them, they're already registered and they want to get back in time to vote because they are Grenadians. They visit Grenada twice, 3 times a year. They have their property there, they live there and that kind of stuff. And really, really excited. Really excited. And we continue to do what we must do. And you know how Kim Jones operates. All right? Solo many a times with his own agenda to make sure that we remain in power and to make sure that we're safe and sound. Now, I'm not just a talker, but I'm pragmatic. I'm a results-based oriented person. I don't just leave things hoping that something's going to happen. That's not me. That's not me. All right? So good news where that is concerned. So the people in the diaspora, because remember, Grenada just have what? 110,000 people. But you have 92,000 people who are registered. Just think about that. Just visualize this for a moment. I'm telling you. So the next election will be determined by the people in the middle who are not NNP, who are not NDC, and who love the direction the country is going and who will support the government, who will give them that vote and that support. The people in the diaspora will play a key role come the next election. Because as I said earlier, NNP supporters, they're going to vote for NNP, and the NDC supporters, they're going to vote for the NDC. You can't run away from that reality. So that is key. So you have to continue to do our work, because if you know NNP very well, like I do, you will appreciate that you could do a lot of things for them and still they will not vote for you or support you. When the election time comes around, when stupid season comes around, and they go to the polls and they see the house, it's like they get bewitched. And you have to know that. And they are very good at tricking you into believing that they support you just to get things and to live comfortably and to survive. But there are some who are changing. In fact, yesterday, I went by my good friend, and when I arrived there, you know, a couple of, 1, 2, 3, over 5 of them, I don't want to call the name, but there's a young man there who said, look, he turned, he changed, right? And he's supporting NDC because he loves the direction the country is going. So he used to be NNP. So there are people who are going to change. There are NNP supporters who are going to change. Then you have the Gen Zs, the millennial, you know, the younger voters. They're going to change. They come from NNP households, but they've seen the lights, right? They're more receptive to the good news and they follow what's happening. They're tech savvy and that kind of thing. They're smart. They're brilliant. So there are people who come from an NNP household, do not brand them and say, well, they're NNP and that kind of stuff. Because election is about adding numbers, right? Adding and not subtracting. Getting more and more people on your side. So there will be people who support NNP, their mother, their father, their grandmother, their grandfather, and the children, the grandchildren of the children, they will support the NDC. They like the direction that the NDC is going. All right? So you have to appreciate. And that's for the people who are just following the politics. And I'm saying to you, do not get too fired up and too angry, too bitter with those NNP supporters. They call talk show programs every morning. Same people calling the pre-due cause program on WFM. Same voices, same people every morning. Many of them, they do not have a following. When people hear them, they get turned off. They are not liked. They are not popular. They're not influential. People don't really adhere to their message, so you have nothing to fear. They call the To The Point program on GBN every morning. Every morning, every day, they wake up in the morning just to call those programs and talk. Many a times, what they're saying and what they're not saying is pretty much the same thing. All right? So I have no fear where that is concerned. These things, there will be a wrong. In fact, the Plead Your Cause program was there before NDC came into power. And NDC still won the elections. All right? So I have no fear where that is concerned. The To The Point program was there before NDC came into power, and NDC still won the election. So I have no fear where that is concerned. It's the same cadre of people who talk and call and moan, groan, plead their cause or plead other people's cause, and ignore that. We have to be focused. It is a numbers game. Registering more and more people. I'm here in Brooklyn, and I mean, everybody knows me. I go to every outlet. It could be Target, it could be Marshalls, it could be Burlington, it could be Old Navy, it could be Kings Plaza, Gateway, wherever I go. There are people up here who would come up to me and say, Ken Jones, keep up the good work, man. I'm learning a lot. I'm following what's happening in Grenada. I love to see the direction that the government is going. Keep up, that is the reception I get wherever I go. It says a lot. The message is reaching people. People are connecting to the message. And I say to folks, the NNP is so tarnished that the people who speak for them, they're not helping them. You see, some people confuse Kem Jones and the programs I did when NNP was in power, when Keith Mitchell was in power, and how I use certain words to describe certain things, and the satire. But you see, I have a good command of the English language. I'm knowledgeable. I can read, write, and reason. Right? I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm different from this guy who would say all kinds of nasty stuff about women and other people. I mean, I listened to a young man yesterday who went to school with that individual in Carriacou, and he said, when he went to school with the guy was so dunce that they separated the class. Those who are a bit brighter, they put them in a different form, and they put him in a form with about 11 or 12 students, and he would still come 10th in class in that particular class. He would still come 11th in that particular class. So I mean, you have to just listen to the guy. His grammar is poor. I mean, he's dunce, right? He lacks the cabeza to be able to articulate, to connect. So the many of the people who are advocating, who are speaking for NNP, they're not helping them. They're not advancing NNP's cause. They're not able to connect with people and reach people. They don't have what it takes, right? You see, what I do, it's not just me speaking. It's everything. That is why I'm the first in this business. That is why I'm the Dan Gargan in Talk Radio. And that is why wherever I go, people can tell me they listen this, they hear this. It's different. It's a different programming. It's a different content. It's tailored to suit, this day and age, and it's just totally different. And people have to understand that. So many a times, sometimes this guy says some things, and then you honor the comment, they might say, well, Kem Jones, and when would they summon Kem Jones? And I'm not that type. Remember, Keith Mitchell tried to sue me on umpteen occasions, and he was never successful. Because I can manage, I can handle this. I am not as loose as this individual. I went to Junction nightclub or bar and grill, and this guy was there in the company of Diali Jr., I think he's the caretaker for the South. I mean, it was a major embarrassment. He was close to this guy, the Diali guy, and they were rapping and so on. I don't know if it's his friend, right? They're all NNP. And the guy did something stupid, and the thing ended up in a brawl. And then you could see the two guys they wanted to, and this was really embarrassing. But he thought that I'm there and I would record his bad conduct and his bad behavior. That's not my business. I'm not that kind of person. I know the guy's an idiot. I wouldn't spend time on, in other words, I am saying, folks, the people who are speaking for the NNP, they're not helping the NNP. You see, during my time of advocating and speaking, when NNP was in power, remember Keith Mitchell was controversial. Keith Mitchell was a bacchanal man. Keith Mitchell melee and, confrontational. And the amount of victimization and problems that existed during that time. And the NNP administration was causing so much of people to be, they mess up the economy. So much corruption and wrongdoing and misappropriation and during the NNP administration period. So the relevance was there, right? And Kim Jones taking on the NNP administration and Keith Mitchell and all of them head on and using certain words to describe them. That was appropriate and relevant during that time. But you have NDC who's prime minister, right? The leader, the prime minister of the country. He's intelligent. He's level-headed. He's focused. He has vision. He's modest. His team, he and his team, they are delivering for the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So these guys are becoming the NNP pundits and zygotes and sycophants, goons. They have become irrelevant and obsolete. You see, they don't have a place in this time and this period unless they come on the scene and they're intelligent, they're smart, and they could compete. But they can't. Most of these people who are speaking for NNP, they're doing a terrible job, a bad job, a terrible job. So you have to understand. So some people say, well, why did those summon? Well, I didn't bounce anybody's vehicle and run away. So they don't have to summons me. I don't get myself involved in any problem or I'm a law-abiding citizen. Where I socialize, it's civilized people, reasonable thinking people. I don't go around this, Kim Jones is different. I remember some years ago, a friend told me, say, Kim Jones, don't lie with too much of people your age, Lie with big people. Because if a fight break out in a certain space, they will grab you and say, Kim Jones, boy, your children, boy, let me go. But if you lie around people your age, I'm not saying that everybody's the same. They will say, Kim Jones, you taking that? You see the point? So over time, I have gained wisdom, knowledge and understanding. And thank God for that. So I can discern. I choose my space. I choose my time and my place. Right? So I'm different. So I don't bounce nobody's vehicle and run and hide in Carriacou. And then when you come down, they grab you on the jetty and they arrest you and you have to go to court. So many people are asking, well, why did summons the man? Why did they summons the man? Because he bounced somebody's vehicle, he tried to hide and duck, and he has to go to court and answer the charges. It's simple like that. And then you see the individual making all kind of claims and false claims. The guy don't even know what is defamation. He doesn't even know what is libel or what is slander. He doesn't know these things. The guy is not bright. So he says stuff loosely and he has nothing to back up his name. So you sue him, you get nothing, right? Really, just nothing. But I'm saying these are the people who represent NNP. And that's what's sickening. But it's not helping NNP. It's not helping them to gain support. When people listen to this guy speaks and they see him wearing an NNP jersey or whatever emblem, whatever the color, whatever, people say, well, so these people are representing NNP. So they're not helping NNP. So don't be perturbed, don't be troubled when this guy and the others go on their rant and say all kind of nasty stuff. Don't be worried. They're not helping NNP. That is why when NNP organize their meetings and so on, they're all an epic failure. People are not attracted to the message of the NNP because they don't have a message. They don't offer hope. They don't. In other words, what you want as a Grenadian, so be hopeful about tomorrow, hopeful about next week, hopeful about next month, hopeful about next year, hopeful about the years down the road. And that is what the NDC has been able to deliver on, giving people renewed hope that things are going to get better. Improvements will come. Transformation will come. Step by step by step. And we are seeing it because we have a good leader and a good team focused on the development of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So I thought I should say this to the political novice, those who are following the politics. You're going to hear a lot of noise. You have to understand the politics. You know, you have to understand the thing, or else you'll be somewhat uneasy. Many times you'll stress yourself out and so on. You don't want to. You have to understand it. So more and more people are gravitating towards the NDC, towards the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team. But you must know this: NNP has support in Grenada, NDC has support. But the people in the middle, they're the ones who are going to shape this. And the folks in the diaspora, we have thousands and thousands of Grenadians who live in the United States of America, the great United States of America. This is a great place. This is a blessed place, right? It's not perfect, but it's a wonderful place. Who live in the great United Kingdom, Canada, and they're fired up and excited about Grenada's prospect, what they're seeing happening in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. They will have a serious impact on the next general election. All right? I want to say we are moving forward as a country. And once progress, not progress, no, the NNP used to say progress. Once progress is being realized, there will be a fight. There will be jealousy. There will be people who are going to be envious and jealous. It's not going to be an easy walk. Don't believe the NNP going to go into slumber or fall asleep and allow NDC to govern and deliver to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. That's not going to happen. The NNPs will always be problems. They will always complain. They will always grind and groan and moan. They will always try to paint a bad picture of everything. So you have to be cognizant of that fact. So with progress, those challenges will be there. So you have to equip yourself to deal with it. I say to people, I don't expect everybody to like me, but I want them to listen to the message. Because if you sit and you reason, they will conclude that what I am saying makes a lot of sense. So again, you don't have to like me, but listen to the message. Because the message is a message of hope. It's a message of optimism. It's a message of transformation. Where you can be, you can be in the know. I want you to know that Grenada is moving forward. I want you to know that prosperity is coming to our people. Because when you speak to the young people, they're happy with the fact that their mother or father don't have to fight to get $810 to pay for them to go to TAMCC or to go to NULO to learn a skill, to become a carpenter, a mason, a plumber, an electrician, a baker, a chef, a tailor, a seamstress, a productive citizen, right? When you speak to the young people, they will tell you that they're happy, they're excited about the future because the government is working assiduously to bring opportunities for them. Look at the amount of scholarships. Almost $200 million spent on scholarships for the young men and women of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Look at the amount of facilities that have been upgraded, enhanced, so that they can utilize their energy on the field, right? Play basketball after work, play netball after work, play football after work, because the facilities have been lit, affording them that access, an opportunity to be a part of the community again and bring back life in the community. That is what you want. So young people are optimistic. A good pal there, Andy, the Honorable Andy Williams, I'll call you. If you're listening, I'll call you after the program. I realize you're trying to reach me. I will give us after the program, because I'm using my device to do the program. All right? So the Honorable Andy Williams, my good pal, my good brother, I'll call you after the program. So again, I'm saying they're excited. They're optimistic about the future because they've seen things happening. You're talking about training in cybersecurity, training in ICT generally. They're excited. You speak to elderly folks, and they tell you that they're happy that the NDC is in power because their pension is safe, right? They're getting their pension and gratuity, but they also want to know that they will always get it until they die. That is reassurance. That is what they have. Hopeful about the future. You speak to farmers, you speak to small business owners, and they will tell you that this government is pro-business. They are for business development to create jobs and opportunity in any small island. You don't want the government to be the main employer. You want the private sector to drive economic growth and development in your country. You want them to create the jobs and opportunity for the people. But the government must make sure that the environment is conducive for that kind of expansion, that kind of injection of more capital and more investment and so on. You want that. So you have a government that is pro-business, for investment, and you realize that the government is strategically moving Grenada into new markets, new places, so that we can find new opportunities. That is what you want. That is what you want in a country. So the government, the most Honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team, they're doing a fantastic job. I saw the Honorable Andy Williams. I mean, he's walking that constituency like the others, and they're going in and out, trying to reach the people and help the people in many different ways. And that is what you want. In fact, I wrote on a piece of paper, I want to encourage those MPs to utilize social media more, because research showed that members of parliament who utilize social media, they tend to be perceived, because election is perception. They tend to be perceived as doers, as workers, and they remain relevant. Because remember, you have a constituency with, let's say, 8 villages. You can't be at the same place and everybody in your constituency knowing that you're there or seeing you in person, right? But if you put it on social media, then the greater constituents, or the greater percentage of your constituents, they will know that you're in the constituency and you're doing X and you're doing Y. And I have been talking about that for many, many years. There is a need for the MPs to embrace technology, to use more social media, to get your message out there, to showcase what you're doing, so that your constituents would know that you're in the constituency, doing work. So that is very, very important. Politics is perception. I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was in 2008, 2013, when Nicholas Steele went under the tunnel, Sendell Tunnel, and he was PT'd, or I think it was a PT'd, a photo was taken of him either holding the barrow or holding the spade, kind of depicting that, you know, you're gonna patch some hole under the tunnel with asphalt, and everybody thought that the man was patching all the holes in the town of St. George, right? Perception. And it was a photo op. It was just a photo taken to make people believe that this guy is coming to patch all the holes. So politics is perception. And perception could be reality for a lot of people. So the optics, so important to embrace social media and do your small videos or reels. The age and day of photo and photo and photo, taking a photo. You know, before time, you're growing up, they say photo tells 1,000 words or something like that. Or a photo could tell 1,000 words. But no, you have reels, short videos. They're concise, they're straight to the point. They can tell 1,000,000 words. You have to embrace that. And there's this lazy culture in some of those PR offices, in the ministries and departments and GIS and so on, where it's just photo and press release and press release. People not willing to read all this long paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. People are not willing to read this thing. You speak it out. You condense the thing, talk about it, short, straight to the point. That's what people want. And then you can actually see who viewed, how many people viewed that reel, the demographic, the age, the gender, the location, where they view. Like the people who are viewing me now, the 691 people who are viewing me now on Facebook and on YouTube. After the program, I will get an insight coming from the stream, restream. They would send that to me. And they would break down for me how many people viewed during the 1 hour, where they viewed from, whether it's New York, whether it's Texas, whether it's Toronto, whether it's London, whether it's Port of Spain, whether it's Roseau, Dominica, whether it's Bridgetown, Barbados. You know, they're going to break it down. Whether it's Grenville or Guave, Sautez, they're going to tell me also the age, right? Between this age and that age, how many people viewed, how many females, how many males, how long they viewed for, how many new people come. So you get real-time data that you can use to shape your content, that you can use to enhance, to improve the deliverables or your representation. So the reels, the videos, they are useful, not just short-term, but medium to long-term. Data is power in politics. You have to remember that. So it's key. The photo, you don't even know who's looking at it. You don't even know who viewed your photo. You don't. And how many times and all that. You don't know these things too well, unless you're really tech savvy and so on. It's tough. But if you do the reels, if you do the videos, you get to know, right? So I want to encourage the MPs to embrace technology, embrace social media, use Facebook, use YouTube, use Instagram, use X, use and many of these platforms, they are free or you pay very little for them. Very little. Embrace it. We're living in a technological age. Even my last daughter, without her tablet, she would go, she would be very uneasy, very uncomfortable during the night or the day. She knows how to navigate at 3, the tablet, to go on YouTube to look for this video. She will tell you this, that's their age, that's their time, that's their thing. Much less you have the 18-year-olds, the 19, the 20, the 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. up to 35 years. I mean, they live on social media. That's where they live. So you have to get up to the times. You have to embrace it and share your message. Let people know where you are in the constituency, what you're doing. And look, I see MPs taking a photo of them, just them, right? Or maybe they're eating something on the opposition side, the NNP side. That gets you nowhere. People don't want to see you eating some food or posing for some. No, they want to see you working for the people, doing stuff to better the lives and living standards of our people. So you have to also have the eyes to know what to capture, what to showcase, and what could bring you political capital in the short, medium, and long term. So it's so important to embrace the technology. All right? I want to take the opportunity to thank the people who welcomed me in that other state. That event was really successful, and I hope to continue on that vein as we progress, as we move to the next level. Grenada is back. We are respected regionally and internationally. We are seeing progress with the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team. They're doing a fantastic job. They're not perfect, but they're doing a fantastic job. Right? In fact, a gentleman said to me yesterday, he said, since the revolution to now, the most amount of progress and development and opportunities is coming to our people is during the Deacon Mitchell-led administration, this current administration. He said that he visited Grenada and he was really, really excited, right? He wants to return home, to build, to invest, and that is what you want. That is what you want. So again, I want to encourage us to support the government, do what we must do to develop our country. Grenada belongs to all of us. We have a duty to make it better. You see, the politics of NNP is about condemning and criticizing and talking the country bad. That's the politics of NNP. NNP is about talking the country bad and painting all kind of bad picture about Grenada, and it's only bad news. They're like the person in the village of old, where they never had the technology and the phone and the this and the that. So that person in the village would announce the death of this person, that person. But the minute time you see the person coming up the hill, you say, oh, gum, bad news again. The person reached by you yet, you know. But the minute time you see them coming up the hill, you say, well, I wonder who died. Bad news, bearers of bad news. That's the NNP. The NNP is bearers of bad news, sad news, complaining. They're from the complaining industry. That's where they're from. They manufacture those things. They make those things. You know, they're suffering from that. But the Grenadian people want good news. You know, they want something uplifting, something positive. You wake up in the morning and you meet somebody nice and they tell you nice things. They encourage you with positivity. They tell you today going to be good for you. You're gonna produce. You're gonna be happy today. You'll be at peace today. Things gonna turn out good for you. This uplifting message. And smile today. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. That is what you want. Hope, opportunities. You want to be at peace, and that's the NDC, offering you peace, offering you hope, offering you opportunities. You see, yes, there's a tunnel, but light is there at the end of it all. Opportunities are coming your way. Today gonna be great, right? Go out there and produce for your family, produce for your community, produce for Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique. So the NNP, the message is bleak. The message is obscured. It's you can beat you down. That's the NNP. The NNP is about all bad things and bad this, and it's like nothing good can come from their mouth. Grenadians have turned that page, that chapter. We want good for Grenada. We want good for Carriacou. We want good for PT Martinique. We want our communities to be transformed. We want our families to be transformed. We want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And we will help in any way that we can to bring opportunities to our people, to bring betterment to our people. That is what we want. And we are seeing it in the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team. They're doing a fantastic job to transform Grenada, Carriacou. But we have to support them and we have to defend them. That's important. Because remember, as I said, don't believe the NNP go into slumber and allow the NDC to deliver and bring prosperity and opportunities to our people like this. They're going to fight. They're going to concoct stories. They're going to cook stories up to make you feel or think or believe otherwise. You have to be mature. You have to be sensible. I remember being in Tortola, at a college in Tortola. I went there to do a course. And the professor said, anytime you see a 30 seconds video, right, or a 25 seconds video, saying some things about somebody, painting that person bad, and I can ask them, well, where is the rest? Where's the rest? Why you chose that 30 seconds to just demean, to paint a person badly? Where's the rest? Why not an hour? Why not 5 minutes? Let's see everything. I remember that vividly. So the NNP, what they do, they like the 30 minutes, the 30 seconds, sorry, the 20 seconds, and they try to paint that bad picture of this minister, the government, and that's all they do. But you never hear them one day commend the government or applaud the government for something good that they did in their constituency or in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. All they talk about, they go to Carriacou, and all they talk about thereafter, bad things, bad news. But that's not going to get you anywhere. Grenadians want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. All right? So, folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. I'll be back with you tonight in the hub again. And I'm out here. I'm in New York. I'll be here for a little while. So I want to wish you all the best. I will be back home sometime next week. Sometime next week, I'll be back in Grenada. So I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. So I'll be back with you in the hub at 8 in the PM. Take good care and bye for now.